What's good, man? It's OG Drip, man. This is a channel where we talk about the spiritual truth and how to utilize energy on a day-to-day basis, man. Y'all got to remember this, man. The spiritual truth is not the truth that you was told. This part two right here. So if you seen part one, go check it out or whatever, man. My camera had to cut me off, but anyways, I'm just gonna get to the gutter of the grind that I wanted to get to, so you guys can actually understand what's going on. So with your religion and with people not being in religion, it's all like different types of tricks and trades to it. But like I was saying in the beginning of the other one, but the thing is that we have to understand is at the end of the day, it's just like us all having a misconception way of understanding the language that was spoke when it was time to speak spiritual, like such as the Bible, like people reading it wrong. Like when you see disciples and stuff like disciples is really disciples and stuff like that, right? So we have little things that when we read in the book, it lets you know it that it's not quite human. So some of these people, what they do is with religion and stuff, this is what makes it play out crazy. They either turn into a place, like an actual place where you have to go, then they either turn into a person or either like some type of thing, like some type of item that you need, some type of thing that you're supposed to be doing for the most part, but it's all getting it go back physical. See, so now what we need to understand is that we live physical every day, right? So this is what it's saying by taking time for God, because once you in these religions or that you done gave up on religion, so now you're an atheist, you all making the wrong decision by, you know what I'm saying, going into things with the wrong starting point, but now also having been an atheist, letting loose faith and not understanding God. So now you're not even able to have these data things come through, which is understanding the questions that you have, questions that people might not be able to ask for you, questions about the unknown. So the questions about the unknown come from you when you tapped in, when you understanding that God has a messenger for you. So this is like when it started breaking down, like boom, Uriel being a messenger of God. So this is why we were able to understand things better like that, right? So another thing, just to throw out that'll give you guys, right, that read the Bible, because I know it's gonna be a lot of y'all that read the Bible and gonna try to come at me and tell me, yo, it's from a this is what it means. But every time you walk yourself into it, I want you to understand that you're making it out physical, which you're putting man before God. So when you know about God is no flesh, no form. So what you need to know that it is a spirit, that is awareness. It's not no all the extra stuff you try to make it. Even when you break it down to elements, because you have like people that do certain type of magic and different type of side religions and the cults that people don't know about. So these also get you twisted. So now at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is the truth in all of this little bit of stuff. But you just got to know how to use it, right? Like you got the Moorish Science Temple, them niggas, they got their own way of being correct about something. But then as they all get lost when they go back to being what? Physical. So even like just saying that all of these things get you back. So as a Christian, you may think you a Christian for a God, right? But you don't realize your God is the God of material, which is back to man. You get what I'm saying? Because man made your time that you're going by. Man made the operations that you're going by. So when we saying understanding that man is making the time and you know what I'm saying, man, you know, so he controls time, controls the world, right? So if you got man making the clock for you, you know, you don't understand the clock yourself. You don't understand what things working. You don't understand what energies is going out. You don't have a pinpoint of necessarily what's going on. You don't know the work of God, right? So that is basically what's showing it. So when you're looking at life, you're looking at it from a physical perspective, which brings you back to hell if you own some forgive and forget thing, right? With certain things. So like people don't understand. It's about acceptance, right? This fifth dimensional talk. It wasn't talking about actually letting go this person that killed you or this person that killed your child, or nothing like that, bro. So what you have to understand is it was talking about accepting, like some things is the way that it is, but you have to know how to wing it away though and stay away from it. So it ain't about, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you got to accept it where people just accepting bullshit where they don't have to accept, where they should fight back from. So it's like having some humbleism to it. So at the end of the day, this is just talking about how you understanding the fifth dimension. Once you start getting that into tune, now you learn more about the sixth dimension of why things look the way it look, why it perceived to be the way it is. So now you're starting to understand how things work. Next thing you know, you're starting to see the light. So this is what it's talking about. It's not talking about no actual person saying, oh, look, a light gonna come from the sky. You know what I'm saying? See, so that allegory got you lost for thousands of years at the point that when we looking at things and reading, you don't understand the work of God and you're giving it to the power of man in some type of form and way. So any Christian that gonna try to argue, I'm telling you, gonna hurt your own feeling when you get down in the comments and you try to say something, because I'm not finna go into their deepness of lostness, their layers, but I'm gonna just break down like the quick understandings of it, right? So when you got the tribe of Judah, notice it's 12 members. It's 12 signs, 12 different zodiacs. But right now we're talking about how the sun is being there, right? And how other planets is interacting. See, so some people don't understand that type of stuff and never will be. So it's not like you just got to know astrology. You still got to know astrology to a degree, but you still got to know how to allegorize it, which is looking at what is not just put as in Sun and Virgo, which is like Virgin Mary, right? And I don't know, see how the phone and stuff want to read and try to knock me off my juice, but bump it, bro. You know how you got, how it says in the Bible, the sun and the moon being that Virgin Mary footsteps, right? If you really think about it, physically, that makes no sense. A person standing on top of the sun and the moon. But nowadays, they would really try to draw that out or draw that she has some type of item like a sun disc and a moon disc. So they'll try to draw it out to any allegory, like they'll draw out the allegory to actually print it in real life. And this is what religion people do spiritually, because they do not have a spirit in that type of sense. They're not entering heaven. You get what I'm saying? So you're blocking your manifestation. You're blocking your stuff from heaven. And they're going to use manifestation and all that too, because that could come without you even being spiritual. But some people don't understand how that works. But by you being spiritual, you can know what you're actually trying to manifest instead of manifesting a fucked up situation or blood on your hands where you got to live knowing that you took from others and knowing that you messed others people's life up just to become more up. And that is why the Illuminati is considered bad and a whole lot of other stuff that they do. So when we breaking out these Mason stuff, I want y'all to understand, bro, get deep to the fact that if a Mason seen you and you have this type of knowledge, this type of wisdom, that they would actually have to like, yo, damn, you got it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, they got tricked into something. They had to give up something to receive this. And you already can receive it. You don't have to give up nothing but time with the God, with time with the Lord. So when we saying stuff like that, this Christian, the Bible, and church, and all that would be more fun if we understood it. And what I mean by fun is just saying a better place where we all will feel more comfortable, feel more entertained, and all because we'll understand that this is where we can all come to show God's work, aka show how our different personalities, our different attributes come up with different worldviews of what the world is trying to tell us and what is to come from it. We is the world. We have to understand that we're working inside of it. It's like all a big pool. It's all a big water cycle. You feel me? And it's all like keep going and it's keep flushing. So in understanding that, it also helps you understand. Okay, when you read in Virgin Mary, know that it's talking about the constellation of Virgo, right? Because you're talking about pure. And when you talk about pure, the sun, they say the sun and the moon both being there. That means things will appear to be pure and also feel to be pure. So sometimes that could be like, and not getting too deep into that. That's just letting you understand that, of understanding why it said it like that. So if you could come up with a better constellation than that, you're going to be arguing with yourself, because after a while, you're going to still bump back into, now you have to separate it from a human and turn it to something else. And that is where you guys fall to realize that in this, in the Bible, it's talking about the Son of God, and it's talking about the further of God, the Father of God, which is the further planet away from the sun. So when we talking about the sun, it's talking about how the time work, what appears, what we see on earth, right? Then you got other things that's going on outside of earth, things that's outside of this realm in reality. So now what are those things? Those things is happening in the 7th and 8th and 9th dimension. So this is where we break down the 3 constellations of life, death, and birth. So you guys, it get deep, man, but just to get this out, we have to understand that these people gave us the wrong starting point, and if you're an atheist, they ran you away from your God. So regardless, you've been tricked. And if you're a Satanist, you already know what it is. You know that you prefer to do this because you want more physical life. You want more terms on earth. You want to be more powerful here. You feel what I'm saying? So at the same time, this is things that we can learn from each and every one of them, which is what I was saying. Some people may hear Satanists and be like, oh, everything they do is bad. Not really, bro, because the Satanist is actually making things happen physically in their life, whether you see it or not. They're making themselves appear to be more mythical, making themselves appear to be more dark, making themselves appear to be more, you know what I'm saying, whatever they're seeking to be. They're learning how to turn into that, which is, that's like how you have to use some of these rituals and stuff. Now, when we talk about rituals and spells, you guys need to understand, because I wanted to break this down, because now when we posting videos talking about rituals and spells, that you already had some on you. But now while you understanding what is an actual ritual, what is an actual spell, how is it curated? So now you understanding how the 4 elements was used, earth, wind, fire, however you want to look at it, and water, how it's used to actually curate things. So now you understand how it breaks down to different zodiacs, different elements of our life being affected by this element coming in, and halfway and fully of the way coming in, what makes the difference, which is being the cusp and being the actual zodiac. So when it's breaking down that is just like where you have to understand and have astrology just to back up the information of what's going on. But before you even dive into all of this, they mark you out from being spiritual. So now you got some astrologers that say this astrology junk, and it sounds like it got nothing to do with the in tune of your life. But then you have a person like me, right? That know how to be spiritual because I'm living in the flesh, but also know how to go to the spirit realm to receive answers and things for what the unknown have for us, right? Or what's sped up or spiritual realm faster, right? So that is being able to talk to God. That's all I'm saying, bro. So he's giving Uriel to be the message of God. So when I'm talking to you guys, sometimes I don't even know where it comes from. The spirit just hit me sometimes and I just have to go. So that's why y'all see that my consistency is not no like daily thing, right? But that's going to change regardless, because as of now, we get more impactful and people get more understanding. They could get to more of the level of what I'm trying to get them to, right? Because it's like me being in the 7th dimension, 8th and 9th dimension, trying to reach down to the 3rd dimension. I can't really do those, right? So I have to come up with allegory for myself to know how to make them understand allegory. So this is the same thing we're going to all be doing as dream work, teamwork, which is making light work, knocking on doors and telling people about God, right? And it's not talking about physically knocking on somebody's door. We're talking about knocking on those doors, which is like what we'll say is opportunities. Whether someone want to be open-minded to something. So we're trying to open the door, let them know of the Christ, the flesh, the body from the things that have been going. And it's not talking about actually like that. So this is where Christians get lost into baptism and thinking that they got to drown themselves underwater to even make that physical. So back to blaspheming God and giving human all credit in that type of way. And it's not all about human. It's also about giving physical object things. You see what I'm saying? So it's a trick. So it's all about you loving to be the creation instead of being the creator. So you got to realize you're the creator. You're not God, but you have God worked within you. God is not a shape of thing. God is a power. The power of God. It's like it's a certain way that it be used in different terms of how we use it. We might consider God as being a planet because the planet is working its power and being seen or whatever. But this is how what they be seeing, but see the power of God, the glory of God, and all this that there. So now when you hearing that, it makes more sense, and it makes you feel like, damn, that dude makes it plays out. It makes sense. If the shit don't make sense, you're gonna be questioning your whole life. And then back to religion, they tell you not to ask those questions. Don't question God. So you sitting there like, damn, now you scared to question yourself about even having that question, even if you think God was a physical person. Now you scared. Now you see what I'm saying? Now you don't put yourself in a mental hell and a mental enslavement. So now when you think about slave and hell and think about gates, chains, and all that in the Bible being explained, now you understand the allegory. It's not even talking about actually putting a chain on somebody's wrist. It's not actually talking about chaining someone down. It's actually talking about blocking them mentally for where they feel like they can't go to. And, like using the sags in life, like they can't travel, can't get outside of that spiritually. So it's like being locked down spiritually, fire. So you're being in hell. You see what I'm saying? So they can't explain that to you. That is what it's talking about, because we represent the element fire. It's like you got Leo, you got Aries, and you got Sag. And see, that's just me understanding astrology. But if I didn't want to say it, I just said it to you from the very beginning without using astrology. So astrology is not going to make these people spiritual either. So I know you guys have seen some astrologers like, what the hell is they talking about? Because they don't know how to relate it to real life. It's like they learning it as in a book. They're not learning it as in being these lessons of life and different paths that you have to take. Although they know that, so it get kind of narcissistic within themselves. So even that people that's in religions that even have an understanding, even some spiritual people get flunked out, right? So especially like the conscious community, because the conscious community make themselves an actual living hell, because they say the devil control this, the devil control that, but everything yet left in this earth to use, they have to use it. So they still don't understand the concept of the devil can just be talking about your Saturn, aka your stability, the things that's keeping you implanted, the things that's keeping you here on earth. So when you say somebody don't want to leave earth, that's why you probably call them a Satanist, aka, and stuff like that. So it's different ways of understanding it, and depending on what passage and what part of the Bible you've seen. So you got to make videos like this so we all could be able to see the same light. So you can see that the person that's talking is actually a genius. Like I've told the person to come in, you a genius too, for recognizing that I'm a genius. You feel me? Because right now, if I was to talk to a bunch of people that been taught a certain way, they'll be looking at me as in they're geniuses, and I'm an idiot that's talking outside their mind. I'm crazy. I'm a lunatic in that sense. But anyways, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be outside the mind. We talking about the spirit. Spirit no shape, no thing, even though it made the mind to drop down to make the body. So at the same thing, these are that three. This is why you see that three. This is why you see the nines. All of these numbers and things in your life means a lot, bro. So this is where you get geometry from, numerology, and how to do chariots. You know what I'm saying? So if you seeing threes everywhere, you know it's talking about something in the physical world, and you know you can break it down to saying, oh, snap, three. So a third dimensional, or we could be talking about it's coming in a certain layout of a trio. So even the elements even come like that, which is called a trine, right? So just to get it all out, man, this is just part of it. But we'll still have like where I do these things. But I do want to make like a Google Mail or something like that. You guys can probably help me, Discord or something, and where we'll be able to communicate back and forth with each other. Now, the reason why I'm not saying it like, oh, I know everything and da-da-da. No, but I know what I'm supposed to know for the most part of being able to go back to that spiritual realm for stuff that I don't know, that I don't have to ask the question for man. I could go ask God, right? And there's a lot of us out here, not a lot, but it's very few of us. And if we was to become a connection and start knocking on these doors, like I was saying, and start telling these people about God in the correct way, in the correct fashion, we can also get our name back, which is saying a Christian, because that doesn't even got watered down. So when it's coming to tags and stuff like that, they water them down on purpose just so you can't use it. So it's like a watered down thing from a human perspective, but from a spiritual perspective, it's a ritual that they have you walk under. Whether it's the black Jesus jump, whether the Chinese Jesus, Buddha Jesus, whatever. You see how they get you to walk into some type of physical being until you understanding that you being an observer from the beginning. They don't make you forget who you was even are. Now you think you just this robot that was made for this earth program, and things that learning on this earth was what you was meant to learn about, instead of learning about how the earth got here. You know what I'm saying? So now you don't even know how to be spirit. You don't even understand birth of the world. You only understand the death realm. So now you're living in death. You're living in hell. That the point now when you look at the gates of heaven, how I explain it in the Bible and stuff, you see it in so much physical that you're coming back to this earth, man. But anyways, that's all I got to say, man. OG Drip, man, I'm out.